Welcome to a sopping wet new episode of the Demonic Compendium, the show where I discuss the mythology, design, and game history of your favorite Megami Tensei demons. Now, before I get started, I'm a bit parched, so let me take a quick drink. Water? I hardly know her. I was probably going somewhere with this, but today we're talking about Undine. Undines are a type of European water spirit that draw heavily from the Nereids of Greek myth, who were the nymph attendants of Poseidon, god of the seas. However, they started to gain more attention as unique spirits thanks to the published works of Paracelsus, a Swiss philosopher and alchemist who heavily contributed to the German Renaissance. While humanity established the four main elements of earth, wind, fire, and water, it was Paracelsus who combined chemistry with his religious beliefs and further expanded upon believing that there were distinct spirits manifesting these elements, with Undine naturally being the water spirit, getting its name from the Latin word unda meaning wave. The first published use of Undine was in Paracelsus's posthumous 1566 work, a book on nymphs, sylphs, pygmies, and salamanders, and on other spirits. Which, fun fact, was a working title for this show, but call me crazy, it seemed a bit wordy. Undines are typically viewed as female spirits due to water itself often being viewed as a more feminine element. Of course, there are male Undines, just, does anybody really care about them? Many of the common beliefs associated with these water spirits came not from Paracelsus, but the literary works of people inspired by his writings and philosophies. One of the best examples is the 1811 fairy tale Undine from Friedrich de la Motte Fouquet, who told the tragic romance of a young water spirit named Undine who falls in love with a knight, marries him so that she may develop a human soul, warns him not to yell at her around water, and eventually drowns him when he is unfaithful to her. This novella has gone on to inspire operas, films, and even served as the inspiration for Hans Christian Andersen when he was writing The Little Mermaid. Undine's Compendium entry from Persona 4 Golden refers to her by saying, "This water spirit lives in lakes and fountains, appearing as a beautiful woman. It has no soul unless it marries a human man, which is a serious taboo among Undines." And yeah, basically all of that comes from the romance novella that I just mentioned. The fountain, the taboo, the soul-gaining marriage, it's all there. And true to Paracelsus's ideas, Undines are a common water spirit in many aspects of pop culture, and are found in other video games like the series of Mana or Monster Rancher. Design-wise, Undine has had quite a few designs in the franchise, though nearly all of them draw from the same well. The very first Conoco design of Undine was pretty basic, just depicting her as a naked blue woman with long flowing blonde hair, cause, water is blue. It wasn't until Devil Summoner when her design gained a clearer water aesthetic. While still appearing as a blue woman with blonde hair, she now has more elf-like ears, and her hair now flows from yellow to green and sort of works to blend into the water swirling around her body. Beyond that, Undine also has a Demi-Kids design that follows the same ideas, blue woman with blonde hair and swirling water, but obviously appearing much younger and wearing a Sukumizu or school swimsuit. I tried seeing if the name tag said anything unique or fitting, like Mizu or H2O, but I'm gonna be honest, I can't quite make it out. While Undine appears in plenty of other Megaten titles, nearly all of her appearances follow similar trends of just being a blue or green woman, often with long hair, normally blonde. The funny thing is that in terms of most stories and classic art, Undines aren't seen as blue or made of water, but generally appear similar to any other person. The blue is just a good way to convey the water elemental factor, and I'll admit, I like it. It's certainly more interesting than just looking for the unique Undine indicating birthmark known as a watermark. Now, this is purely speculation on my part, but I can't help but wonder if the running theme of Undines in Megaten having long blonde hair comes from this painting of Undine from John William Waterhouse in 1872, where she has long blonde hair. I know, it's a bit of a stretch, right? As far as game history goes, while appearing fairly often, Undine typically doesn't have that many unique roles in the franchise, usually just showing up as a member of the Element race. In Megami Tensei 2, Undine is a necessary demon in order to recover the Flood Tide Orb from the bottom of a so-called bottomless lake in the Valley of Despair, which the protagonist will need to reach Belial's castle. Undine also has a small role in Shin Megami Tensei 4, where she is a demon partner of the character Skins and is incredibly loyal to him. While not appearing directly as a demon, Undine has a fairly unique role in the mobile title Shin Megami Tensei Liberation D2. The character Shirka, a crossover character from Berserk, has the unique spell Summon Elementals, where one of the elementals that she summons is the water spirit, Undine. And speaking of appearing as a spell rather than a demon, Undine is a fusion spell in both Persona 2 Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment. In the former, players just need to cast the spell Summon Spirits alongside any water spell. However, it's a bit harder in Eternal Punishment, and involves collecting rumors that Kanaloa can use the spell Wonderful Aquas, and gaining the information that it works in a fusion spell. Only then can you cast Undine by using Kanaloa's Wonderful Aquas alongside Summon Spirit, to deliver potentially powerful water damage to all foes. This was back when the Persona games actually had water spells and it wasn't forced to be Bufu. Undine made her 3D model debut in Persona 4, where she's a member of the Lover's Arcana, and yeah, that's really about it. Perhaps Undine's largest role in the franchise comes from Devil Summoner 2, Raido Kuzunoha vs. King Abaddon. For starters, Undine is the highest level demon of the Element Order, which isn't really saying that much as she's only level 31, and outside of the Spirit Order consisting of the Mitamas, most ultimate demons are in the 60s or 70s in that title. Undine is also necessary for the case file Demon Wanted 1 from the Yatagarasu. Raido's bosses request that he deliver an Undine so they can use her abilities to help villages that are dealing with droughts. So Raido just gives them an Undine, and then the case file is over. Players do unlock a spare demon tube upon finishing this case for the first time, and a few Onyx gems on subsequent completions. Personally, I'm sad that we don't see Undine and her fellow Paracelsus elemental demons more in the franchise, as I think they're all far more interesting than, say, Aquans and his elemental buddies. I think Undine has a lot of potential, but she's never really gotten an opportunity to make a big splash. And there you have it, Undine, the wondrously romantic woman of water welling up for a wedding. Did I leave out something you thought was important? Was I just plain wrong about something? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to let me know who you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demonic Compendium, and I will see you next time. But be careful while you rest that a demon doesn't take over your body.